going on, everybody? How y'all doing? I'm Joe Brady. I'm excited to be here. Still just trying to figure out where my office is and trying to find my way around here. So, look, there's going to be a lot of questions that I might not necessarily have your answers for right now, but I'm excited to be here. I'm excited to work for the Carolina Panthers and be a part of the process with Coach Rule. But if you guys have any questions, fire away.
Where is your office, Jim?
I think it's somewhere upstairs. I'm still trying to find my way around. I've opened a couple doors. That is not my office just yet, but I'll figure it out pretty shortly, and I'm ready to get to work.
Joe, I'm Joe Person from The Athletic, and can you take us through what has to be the most whirlwind week of your life, and maybe for a lot of assistants, and what was it like, and just how everything unfolded?
Look, it's. So I found out it was Friday today. Look, it's been an incredible week. You coach in this profession. You work so hard to see rewarded with a national championship. Obviously at the college level, and seeing the look on the guys that you worked for and you coached, and seeing seeing how happy they were to get that championship. They can't ever take that away from those guys and from the players. And so it was an incredible opportunity. And look, I didn't think of another job. I've never thought of another job while I've had my own. So, after the national championship, this opportunity afforded myself, and I was excited about it. And next thing you know, I'm on a plane and I'm in Charlotte. And so you come from Louisiana to North Carolina, and you don't realize that 24 hours ago you were playing in a football game. And so it's been an incredible journey, and I'm excited to be a part of this staff and put together a staff that we're going to be excited about, and the players are going to be proud to work for.
Hey, Joe, Jordan Rodriguez with The Athletic. Two-part question. What's your contract length, first of all? Second of all, why Carolina? Why was this a good fit for you?
Look, nice to meet you. Look, from a contract standpoint, that's something that I won't dig into the details with that. But, look, I believe in Coach Rule. To me, the NFL is the pinnacle, and I enjoyed my time in the NFL, and I've always wanted to be a part of it. And so just having the opportunity to work for Coach Rule and understanding the culture that he brings, and looking to be a part of. I know he talked about the process, and I'm excited to share the vision and work for him. And look, we have an incredible group of guys here that we're going to get to coach with and play with, and so I'm excited to work with him when it comes to that.
David Newton with ESPN.com. Obviously, a lot of uncertainty surrounding the quarterback situation here. What is kind of your take on that? And when you walk in, what do you look around? What do you see at the quarterback room, and what are you hoping to get?
No, look, I wish I can give you. I haven't even had an opportunity to really check out the film. Especially being at the college level for this past season. I'm excited. I'm excited to get in contact with Cam, with Kyle, with Will. And I know we have a great group of guys right now, and I'm excited to get in touch with them and see the direction.
David Newton, ESPN.com. When you look at what you've got, I know you haven't studied it a lot, but where do you see the talent? Where do you see the biggest needs right now?
Look, I wish I can give you that answer right now. It'd be a disservice to myself. It'd be unfair. Once we put together a staff right now, I can kind of dive in and study the tape and look at the film. So that might be a question for a later time. Apologies. Hope you can respect that.
All right, Josh Klein from the Riot Report. As far as your coaching staff, what are you looking for in position coaches, and how involved are you going to be in that hiring process?
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
No,
look, I think Coach Rule, he knows what he wants in his staff, and I'm excited to be a part of it, and do anything I can to help put together that staff. At the end of the day, we're looking for a staff that's going to do everything they can to win, and there's no egos, and so I have full faith, and the man that we're going to bring in is going to put together a system that we're all going to be proud of.
Joe, Elena Getzenberg, Charlotte Observer. I know you had met with Coach Rule 2014 or some earlier time. What did you know about him coming into this? And I know you said he was part of why you took this job. What about him made you want to work with him?
Well, look, if you guys saw the first press conference, I mean, there's probably not a person in this room that didn't want to play for him at that moment. And so, look, he's his time at Temple, his time at Baylor, he's changed cultures, and I'm not saying that there's a culture that needs to be changed here. What I'm saying is that everywhere he's been, he's made a difference. And if I can help be a part of that, I want to. And you can talk with him, you have a conversation with him, and you want to run through a wall for him. And so I'm excited, and I'm grateful for this opportunity.
So when you look at Mike Solarte, Spectrum News, when you look around the NFL and you start seeing OCs that are have been established in the league and you come in and you're the youngest coordinator in the league. Is there an intimidation factor there? I mean, how are you approaching this opportunity? Because what's happening within this building is maybe outside of what other NFL teams have done for years and years and years.
Yeah, look, if there's one thing I've never done, I've never thought about my age or talked about my age. You'll never hear me talk about my age. I don't believe that your age determines how good of a coach you are. I feel like the players that I'm going to work for and work with and the coach and staff, they're going to see my approach, they're going to see my work ethic. They're going to see how much, how I'm willing to do whatever they can to win. And, we're going to, as an offensive staff and myself, we're going to do what we can to put our players in the best position to have success. And so regardless of my age, regardless of my experience, if they understand that, I feel like they're going to want to play for me and they're going to respect me and, we're going to be able to have success.
Ashley Mahoney, the Charlotte Post, expand a bit on your approach to the game with this particular level. Something that Marty Kearney touched on with Coach Rule is that you walk in with a sense of collegiate level to the NFL, and there's the can they make the jump. But after talking with Coach Rule, there was no question about that, and it seems like it's a similar situation for you. What's your approach to making that jump?
Well, look, I think, the approach that you take, it doesn't matter what level you're at, whether it's high school, the pros, the manner in which you prepare and that you approach your day shouldn't change. I might be the offensive coordinator right now, but I still work like I'm a graduate assistant. And so none of that has ever changed. None of that will change. And so, I still wake up at the same time, and I'm still going to put in the same amount of work, no matter your role. And I believe that the players will see that.
Hey, Joe, obviously most, if not all of us, saw what LSU did in the national championship game and on offense all season, but can you take us back a little bit further as to how you began to put the pieces together of this offense that you helped install at LSU and what the different concepts and the marriage of those concepts have been like?
Yeah, look, I think, the offensive staff at LSU, I thought we put together what we did is, we found what our players did well, and we put them in positions to have success. And so that was what was the most rewarding. And the credit goes to the rest of the offensive staff. And I know I got a lot of credit for it, but those guys put in a lot of work, and I'm truly grateful for them. We weren't just running plays to run plays. We were looking to find out what our guys do well, and that takes time. That's in the professional elite. That's the OTAs, that's minicamp, that's training camp. We have to find what our guys do well, and we have to put them in the best position to have success and find out what they do well, and let's do what they do well. And, if we're not doing that, we're not doing a great job as a coach. And I think we were able to find that at LSU. We were able to find out what, the running backs, what the receivers did well, and we were able to utilize that.
Jim, to follow up on that, you use so much of the spread offense at LSU. Do you feel like that concept, that scheme, can that work in the NFL?
Look, it's hard to label an offense anymore these days. You talk about a West Coast system, you talk about a spread system. Everybody kind of has put their own stamp on who they are and what they are. So to be able to talk about our system, our system is going to be, like I keep talking about, it's going to be what our players do best. And I think that changes year to year. I think that changes based upon what you have. At the end of the day, it's all about a vision that you have for your players. Each person on your roster, on your offense, you should have a vision for, and they all have to, play a role. And when you can find guys that fit the vision and understand their role, that's when I think you have success. And so, regardless of labeling what system it is, I think you have to put together a system that has a vision for what you guys are looking for.
You said the NFL you always viewed as the pinnacle. When you got into this business, did you kind of have a timeline in mind of how long it might take to get here? And what have been some key moments in your career that have gotten you here this quickly?
Look, like I said, I've never thought of what the next job was while I hadn't. I just knew if I took care of what I can in the current job, that the rest will take care of itself. And so, I'm a big believer in how you do anything is how you do everything. And so, when I was a defensive assistant, I knew if I was going to be the best defensive assistant, the rest will take care of itself. And I thought the same way as a graduate assistant, as a wide receiver coach, and all of that. And so, look, I'm grateful for every opportunity I've had. I've been presented with. They've all got me to this point, and I'm grateful for those experiences, for those coaches that I worked for the staffs that I've been a part of. For the wins and losses, they've all got me to this point, and I'm truly grateful for all of it.
And I understand all that, but you couldn't have. I won't put words in your mouth. Did you imagine you would have been here this quickly, like 6 years after you started this career?
Look, I never thought like that, but I don't mean that, and I never thought this was possible. I just always took it day by day, and I'm not a goal-oriented person. I'm a process-oriented person, and so I knew that if I took care of what I can control, the rest will take care of itself. I'm big in it. Look, no one rises to low expectations, and so that's how I feel about myself, and that's how I'm going to work, and the rest will take care of itself.
Wondering if you might have any anecdotal support here. When did you first start designing plays, constructing playbooks, realizing that, hey, this is something that I think I'm pretty good at?
Probably when I was 5 years old, 8 years old. Look, my dad was a coach growing up, and when you have some time, you got some time in the classroom in elementary school or whatever, you're probably drawing up some plays, and then it becomes real when you go to college and realize you're not a very good football player, and you got to realize that you're probably going to not play in the NFL. So let's try to make coaching your career. And so while I was in college, I started having ideas, and then you get to the obviously you become a coach and you start seeing what's working against. You're a defensive assistant, and you start seeing what's giving you issues from a defensive perspective, and you kind of just start expanding upon that, and then you go when you're a GA and you're like, all right, look, I might have an opportunity to call plays one day, and I want to start putting together a playbook. And so, look, you always got to prepare for the next opportunity. And so, I've always, ever since my early ages, I've always been, a fan of creating plays, drawing plays, and I'm excited to implement what we have here.
Today, Sean Brown with WSOC here in Charlotte. What do you see as your biggest challenge or opportunity having now the chance to lead an NFL offense?
That's a great question. Look, a lot of stuff I had an opportunity to really think about. Like I said, this week's been kind of a whirlwind, and you kind of get off the plane and you're ready to roll. And look, there's the NFL always presents challenges. Every single week, you can't control who's available, who's hurt. You can't control the defenses that you're going to face. So there's going to be a lot of challenges throughout the way. That's something I probably have to spend a little more time thinking about. I understand that there's going to be issues along the way, and I'm excited for the challenges.
You said obviously that you haven't watched the tape on specific players, but how much easier does a guy like Christian McCaffrey make your job as an offensive coordinator and as a playmaker or as a play caller?
Yeah, look, again, talking personnel, it'd be an injustice, but like everybody knows Christian McCaffrey, and so I'm excied to be able to see what he does well and be able to work with him.
You referenced your.
You talked about following, calling up plays when you're young. How have you seen the game, especially offensively, evolve, and how do you plan to take that, working in the NFL now as an offensive coordinator?
Look, the game evolves every year, and I think as a play caller, as a coach, you have to evolve. And I'm not a big believer that what you do today is going to work necessarily tomorrow, and what we did this year is going to work next year. And so I think you have to look every day you're competing against yourself, and you have to look yourself in the mirror, and we have to get better. And so the game that you guys saw in the NFL this year is probably going to change next year. And I think it's important to be innovative and to stay on top of it. And look, there's no such thing as a bad idea right now. And let's work towards creating a system that we feel proud of.
You referenced your college experience. How did that William & Mary experience impact your career? And do you have much of a relationship with guys like Tomlin and McDermott?
Yeah, look, I'm standing up here because of my time at William & Mary. Look, I had the opportunity to work for Jimmy Laycock, play for Jimmy Laycock, and then coach for him and coach with him. He got my foot in the door. And so, look, my time at William & Mary helped shape me as a player, as a person, as a coach, and I'm tremendously, I'm grateful for all of that. Yeah, look, you got two head coaches that are from the College of William & Mary, and I'm fortunate to have a relationship and be able to communicate with them. And look, there's one thing about William & Mary is you're small, but you're proud. And so, there's nobody that you're not able to reach out to, and they'll connect with you. And so, I'm fortunate to have those relationships.
Understanding that you're not going to be able to get into specifics right now, but as you start to assemble a staff, what kinds of minds are you looking for? And to follow up with that, how have you guys decided, you and Coach Rule, have you decided about the play calling structure, full autonomy to you, or is that going to be something you guys work through as the weeks go by?
Yeah, without getting into specifics, look, we're looking for a staff, we're looking for a bunch of guys that are willing to do whatever it's going to take to win. We're looking for guys that are not necessarily always going to be, you know, they don't sit there and say, hey, look, this is the only way. You know, I think it's important to be innovative. I think it's important to collectively come up with a system. You know, this isn't Joe Brady's system. This isn't my system. This is going to be our system, and I think that's important for everybody on the staff to understand. And so, without getting into specifics with Coach Rule, but that's you know, that's my feelings.
Again, I know you can't get into specifics on this, but maybe having people on staff that have more NFL experience, how important do you think that is to you, and, you know, having people you can lean on that have been in this league?
Look, without getting into specifics again, like, I think it doesn't matter the experience or the levels and the time. I think if you can bring value to our room and you can bring value to the staff and to this team, you know, regardless of your experience and where it is, I think that there's merit to that. And so I look forward to. I'm excited about the staff that we're going to put together here, and I'm sure everyone's going to be excited to work for Coach Rule.
So do you have any background with the Carolinas or with the Panthers? I think I read that your dad played at Clemson. And can you just kind of go over any connections you have to this area, if any?
No, look, you know, I don't have many connections to this area. You know, my dad, I think he signed with Clemson, but he was only there for, you know, a short period of time. You know, obviously when you go to school in Virginia, you have connections to this state. You know, my high school coach actually coaches in Charlotte now, and so there's you know, outside of that, but look, you know. This is one of the greatest places to live, you know, the Carolinas, and so I'm excited to finally be a part of this.
Thanks, Joe.
All right, thank you guys. I appreciate you guys.
Excuse me. Sorry.